down upon me with great vengeance and furious anger.
Oh, Robot, you're all right! And you saved the day.
You're eliminated.
Looks like the Emperor's days are numbered. At long last, we have assembled our team.
A lot of reviewers and fans, too, always wondered why we shot so few scenes with all three heroes in it together. I mean, we did our best to explain it, something about the sleep chambers or staying back to protect the ape village. Really, it was just logistics. Jonathan had bowling league on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and Stacy had her karate Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Honestly, we almost never had all of them on the set at the same time. Our robot actor was in some religion that only allowed him to work on Sundays. I'm still a little skeptical about that one, though.
Sir, it's just a guy in a suit. Couldn't you have gotten just about anyone to stand in as the robot?
See? That's why you'd make a horrible director, Patrick. His touches were subtle, to say the least. But he really brought a lot of character to the robot role.
If he was so indispensable, how come you didn't list the actor in the credits?
Well, let's just say it was an oversight. But I've learned my lesson. I only made the mistake 6 more times throughout my career. This one with regular logs, well, that was disastrous. I'll tell you, never mess with physics. It was kind of, well, to be frank, it started out nice, but then, well, it was a death trap. Just plain and simple, it was a death trap. Poor kid holding the boom almost broke his leg. Guess he played basketball in college or something, because he leaped right at the last second. Whew! Crisis averted. My props guy wanted to swap them with some spongy material for safety, but I had a better idea. Let's set the logs on fire. Then the crew will be sure to be safe dealing with them. Say, you know what I was thinking? With all this jumping and climbing and jumping, wouldn't this make a great video game? Isn't that what all those video games are about? Jumping around?
Well, yeah, and killing. There's jumping too, but mostly the killing.
What? Patrick, that's awful. What sort of example are we setting for our use?
Well, movies are pretty violent too. Your heroes have killed everything in sight. You had Dick shooting a dinosaur in the face in the first 5 minutes.
Well, Patrick, that's different, you know? What we did on film, that was art. Video games aren't art. Funny story about the two caged apes in this scene. I had completely forgotten about them when we wrapped up filming on the set. Then we spent the next day doing a location shoot. So, suffice it to say, our return to the studio was met with a couple of grumbling tummies complaining about unsafe work conditions, human rights, yada, yada, yada. Patrick, I was thinking we should take a little break and get a bite to eat. You like Chinese? I know a great takeout.
Well, we're not scheduled for a break for another few hours.
Nonsense. Hey, you have to try the shrimp. It's the absolute best. But, oh, hey, I feel like I should warn you. It gives Oh, no, Patrick, you got... Funny story about the two caged apes in this scene. I had completely forgotten about them when we wrapped up filming on the set. Then we spent the next day doing a location shoot. So, suffice it to say, our return to the studio was met with a couple of grumbling tummies complaining about unsafe work conditions, human rights, yada, yada, yada. Patrick, I was thinking we should take a little break and get a bite to eat. You like Chinese? I know a great takeout.
Well, we're not scheduled for a break for another few hours.
Nonsense. Hey, you have to try the shrimp. It's the absolute best. But, oh, hey, I feel like I should warn you. It gives me horrible gas. But that's okay. We're friends, right?
Really, sir. Studio time costs a fortune. Let's just stay on schedule.
Good thinking. We could grab a real dinner together and go out for a night on the town. Yeah. Two young bachelors on the prowl. Say, where do you youngsters go these days? This movie may not have made the big splash in Hollywood or even made the budget back for that matter, but hey, in the end, I think it was still worth making just for those die-hard fans that really love it. I attended a lot of sci-fi and movie cons, and to this day, I still see fans showing up dressed as aliens and apes and dinosaurs. Does a man proud. Now, granted, their costumes aren't exactly 100% faithful to the film, and it seems that no one ever remembers them by the right name. But still, knowing that we still have fans like this promoting the film decades later, it puts a tear in this old director's eye. I get all emotional. Okay. insistence on lens flare. I tell you, some days it felt like he was trying to be the director. Honestly, you could see dust on the lens, so I'd just go and wipe it off myself. He would get so upset about it, too. Like my fingers aren't clean enough to wipe the lens. Don't touch the lens. Whatever. rickety old things, the higher up they went, the more they sounded like they were going to fall apart. I'm amazed that no one ever got hurt, or worse, riding these things. Well, there was the actor we originally cast for Dick's role, but we don't talk about him. Start to get a sense of how high up our heroes have been climbing here. Reminds me of how the crew always used to comment on how high everyone was. Those jokers, they'd even say it when we were filming the grounded scenes. And they all giggled like school children whenever they mentioned it, too. So I'd make sure to laugh even harder so they'd know I was in on the joke. Whatever it was.
Fight this beast here. I must make for higher ground.
Back then, props, walls, you name it. Then you moved bits and pieces around and created whole new scenes. We were efficient. I adopted that technique to my wardrobe too. If you mixed and matched sufficiently, you could get by for years on only a handful of shirts and underwear. Never get enough of these free-falling shots. Something so invigorating and freeing about them. Like sticking your head out of the sunroof while driving on the freeway.